All right, let's dive right into this explainer. You know that feeling when you look at a massive, complex topic, like human anatomy, and just think, how on earth am I going to learn all this without spending years in a classroom? Well, today, we're dissecting a highly efficient framework designed for mastering human anatomy in just 1 week. It's this incredibly tight blueprint that takes what feels like an impossible mountain of information and turns it into a totally manageable, systematic climb. So, this exact request from our source material is what we're looking at today. It's honestly a masterclass in structured, self-directed learning. Notice how incredibly specific this prompt is. It doesn't just ask to learn anatomy generally, it demands a very particular pedagogical structure. It insists on a complete 7-day course, broken down into 4 non-negotiable daily elements. It's a fantastic example of how setting strict, clear parameters can actually free you up to learn a complex topic far more effectively.
Section 1. The 7-Day Anatomy Challenge. A complete course architecture.
Okay, so every single day of this intensive 7-day challenge demands 4 distinct, sequential steps to ensure total comprehension of the anatomy topic. You literally cannot skip one without compromising the whole system. It starts with absorbing the lesson, moves right into a physical or practical exercise to ground it, tests your memory immediately, and then forces you to connect it to the real world. This isn't just passive reading, right? This is an active, full-contact sport for your brain.
And mapping out these 4 tasks across a full week, it creates this unshakable daily rhythm of learning, practicing, testing, and applying. Every single box gets a check mark every single day. By day 3 or 4, this rhythm simply becomes a habit. You aren't wasting any mental energy trying to figure out how to study today, you just execute the plan.
Moving on to Pillar 1, the clear and direct lesson.
Think of this direct lesson as the absolute skeleton of your daily curriculum. Because we're focusing on human anatomy, this is the foundational knowledge you've got to clearly absorb before anything else happens. You can't test what you don't know, and you definitely can't apply what you haven't yet grasped. The source material specifically asks for it to be clear and direct. No fluff, no rambling tangents, just the pure, concentrated facts of human anatomy required for that specific day's focus.
Next up is Pillar 2. The practical exercise. If the direct lesson is your skeleton, the practical exercise acts as the muscle. It takes that clear info and puts it into immediate, controlled motion. It actively pulls the theory out of the static text and forces your hands to physically engage with the material. For an anatomy course, a practical exercise might involve drawing the skeletal structure you just read about or physically tracing the major muscle groups right on your own arm.
Which brings us to Pillar 3, active recall.
The curriculum explicitly calls for a short test utilizing active recall. This functions almost exactly like the nervous system of the course, making sure the learning signals are actually sticking in your brain. It is arguably the most powerful study technique out there. Instead of just passively rereading your notes, which, let's be real, only gives you a false sense of security, a short active recall test forces your brain to retrieve the information completely from scratch. It builds those deep neural pathways so the anatomy knowledge is instantly there when you actually need it.
And finally, Pillar 4. Real-life application.
This perfectly clarifies a crucial difference. There's practicing a concept in a vacuum, and then there's actively observing its heartbeat in your day-to-day existence. A practical exercise is totally controlled, like completing a diagram at your desk. But the real application? That's noticing exactly how your bicep and tricep work together when you reach out to grab your morning coffee, or understanding the actual biomechanics of your spine while you're sitting in your office chair. It forces the anatomy out of the study category and permanently into your lived reality. Your ultimate learning blueprint, mastering the methodology. In just exactly 7 days, this specific combination of a direct lesson, a practical exercise, active recall testing, and real-world application creates a highly optimized personal learning journey. 7 days. That is just a single week. By committing to this intense 4-part daily cycle, you completely bypass the usual, slow, month-long slog of passive reading. The repetition and the diverse variety of cognitive tasks, absorbing the data, doing the exercise, retrieving the memory, and applying the concept absolutely supercharge your retention and your overall understanding. The overarching value of this structured architecture is just undeniable. It proves that conquering complex subjects like human anatomy doesn't always require endless amounts of time. It simply requires a relentless, highly structured strategy. Leaving us with one final, empowering thought for you. Are you ready to build your 7-day blueprint? What massive, intimidating topic have you been putting off that could be entirely conquered with this exact 4-pillar framework? Think about it. Grab a notebook and start building.